All right, so we're going to do two today. Welcome.
Hi, everybody.
We're going to do creativity and innovation and environment altering. These are number 6 and 7. So talking about creativity, I like to think of creativity and curiosity are just like a manifestation of up, which all of these are up in context, so it makes sense. But I've especially used creativity and curiosity as a way to understand what up is when I first started learning about up. Because when you're first learning about it, you really can't wrap your head around what it is we're talking about, especially if you're so used to the traditional system, which is what I've used. And so I was trying to understand, so I actually used the word curiosity, and I think creativity is very similar, but it's bringing what is it? What's curiosity? What's creativity? What are you bringing to something when you bring that? And it's up in context. It really is like learning, up in context of learning things, up in the context of wanting to understand how the world works, how your body works, how people work. Yeah, so it eliminates this block, freeing up. So the block, fear is one of the blocks to creativity, and so up eliminates this block, and it frees you up to be more creative and have playful curiosity. So, yeah.
Yeah, new ideas can be threatening, or the unknown can be threatening if your emotions are attached to it, right?
Yeah, it really can be, and new ideas, before they're even, like, one of the things that happens in my process of transformation is that I will know that I am on the verge of a breakthrough, but I won't know what it is or what's going on, and I'll have this feeling of I need to push past something, and it feels like I've called it brain fog or overwhelm, or even just washi tape, we call it, but it just means something. It just means something that you're not willing to go into the fog, into the unknown, and so there's this feeling, and I used to approach it with a negative state, a negative feeling, like, ooh, I don't want to go into that unknown. But somehow along the way, I changed to where I feel, whenever I feel that kind of unknown or brain fog, I see it as an opportunity. It's so exciting for me, because it means that once I figure out what it is, and usually what I do is I try to figure out what my question is. So I don't even know what my question is. All I know is that when I approach this idea or this situation in my life, there's this brain fog, or I think in the past it was strong negative emotion, and now it's just mild negative emotion and brain fog. And so now when I feel that feeling, whatever, then I realize, oh my gosh, this is something I can explore. And so I get super curious, and I need to think it through. And so I spend a lot of time thinking and coming up with my question, and talking to people and saying, I don't even know what my breakthrough is yet. I need to figure out my question. And then once I know my question, then it will start to make sense. And then the fog just disappears. And then I don't have that anymore. So that would be that, I don't know, just that where fear is blocking me. Then when I let go of that fear, I can move into the uncertainty and unknown of a new idea. And it's cool, because whenever I can move into that new idea and find my question, then it's almost like, for me, I know it's different for everyone, but for me, it's instant change. Like, it's not like, okay, now I'm gonna try hard to change this thing. It feels like it changes, but I know it's me that changes. So that's just an insight into my process, my transformation process. So yeah, did you want to say anything?
Let's see, and then we can do this one too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Do you want to talk about it?
Oh, okay. Let's see. So, oh my, yeah.
This is a good one. Environment altering.
Yeah. So, when you're not fighting against your directions, and when you're not blocked by fear, and when you're not depending on something outside of yourself for your enjoyment and your energy and things like that, kind of what we described with the snow the other day, it feels like the world just starts altering in your benefit.
Yeah.
Stacy described this when we lived in Israel. We were coming from Thailand, where we had someone to do the cooking and the cleaning, and we had fewer tasks that we had to manage as a family because we had someone helping with those kind of things. But they only worked so many days a week, and we still ended up having mess in the house when they weren't there, or we still had to. It just felt like we were still dealing with cleaning the house and chores and that kind of stuff. So even when you have someone doing it full time as their job, we still had to deal with house cleaning issues. But we were going to go from having someone doing it as a full time job to it just being our family again when we moved to Israel. And Stacy was concerned that it would go from being a minor part of our lives to being a huge part of our lives again. And before she started on her journey of transformation as the mother of the household, that was not just a big part of life, but she felt kind of like everyone was avoiding her because she was going to be following up on, are you doing your job? How come this isn't clean? Go do this, go do that. And she just kind of felt like the boss lady going around telling people what to do, and they're all hiding from her so they can. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you probably, if you ever grew up in families, you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So then in Thailand, that's when she started on this journey, and all these huge changes. And as we go to Israel, she's wondering what's going to happen when we don't have anyone else to help with the chores again. Is it going to go back to what it was like before? Even though she had changed, it's like, what happens when we go back to the environment of us doing all the stuff? But she took this new approach to everything, and she applied it to how the chores got done at the house. And literally, it was like we had a magic self-cleaning house.
I called it my magic self-cleaning house.
And she was almost afraid to examine what was happening because she didn't want to break the spell.
Yeah.
It's like, how is the house? She wasn't nagging anyone. We didn't have a job. We used to have chore charts and mark off when things got done, and that's how they got their weekly, we call them commissions, but it's like allowance. They had to earn it every week. We were had this very elaborate system to try to make sure everything got done, and accountability and all of that. She wasn't doing any of that. The house was way more clean than even when we had a full-time house cleaner. So it was like magic. Like, what happened? And the kids were doing their part cheerfully.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my example of environment altering when she became this new person and then applied it to the environment of our house. It suddenly became a clean house with cheerful helpers. And that sounds crazy, but it happened.
It sounds crazy. And
That
it's
happened.
still going.
And it's still going. So the idea is that the environments, instead of trying to change the environment to get to this happy place, taking however you're putting this into words. Remember, this is your translation. We're in the translation stage. This is your guidebook. I'm just describing my experience with Stacy as she altered the environment around us. It felt like, by magic, that her bringing this new person with all of these, we just talked about the focus and persistence and energy and unconditional love to the family, it transformed our home environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely different.
So the universe seems to bend to create an ideal environment which supports chosen. That's what happened in our house.
Yeah.
So.
I'm excited to hear your stories.
Yeah. And by the way, when we get to stage 3 and you're applying this stuff, once you've translated it so that it's something you understand in your language, you can relate to, you have something to hold on to. When we get to stage 3 and start applying this stuff, you're going to see this happen too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on for the ride.
Woo. All right.
See you guys.
See you tomorrow.